Welcome into the CHGO Blackhawks Show, powered by ComEd. It's getting easier for your business to switch to electric vehicles. Learn more at comed.com/clean. Hope you're having a great Monday. It's actually pretty damn nice outside.
It is. It's sunny.
I must say so.
Bad. Yeah.
There's a giant glowing orb in the sky. I'm not sure what it is.
Sun back with you.
I did. I brought it from Florida. Yeah. You're welcome. Hey, thanks for being with us. We appreciate it. The Blackhawks were back on the ice today. You're going to hear from Luke Richardson. Later in the show, you're going to hear from MacKenzie Entwistle. But before any of that, do us a favor and smash that like button for us on YouTube. Subscribe to the YouTube page as well. And if you're a podcast listener, we love you too. Make sure you are following or subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. And please leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. And consider becoming a CHGO diehard. Why? Well,
why not?
Lots of good reasons. You get the rebuild report every week. You get my Blackhawks beat every week.
Yep.
You get access to our Discord where we've been doing some overtime shows.
Yep.
And a free shirt or hat upon sign up. 20% off all merch. 20% off all of our events and tailgates. So get a shirt. Go to a tailgate. It pretty much pays for itself, and it helps us very, very much. So become a diehard today at allchgo.com. So fellas, I walked into Fifth Third Arena today, and I heard the unmistakable sounds of a Connor Bedard snapshot hitting the post just as he intended, and all was right with the world. If you've ever been to Fifth Third, the Hawks are shooting at the net that is like basically, if there was no wall there, it would shoot into the lobby, and being in the goalie position to see a Connor Bedard shot was something. He was back in the green non-contact jersey, but really laying into the shots he was taking, another step in his progression.
Yeah, he was given the go-ahead to take some slap shots now. That was off the table for him when he first got back on the ice in January because he couldn't be clinching too much with his teeth. Other things probably fine, but yeah, I mean now he's got that slap shot ability back, working on that. Potentially, we'll hear from Luke, potentially a return to drills with the team this week. So it's good. The progression is good to see. He's on the exact same schedule that he originally was with the 6 to 8 week time frame that was laid out last month. And I would say, based on how he's, looked on the ice, how things are progressing, that 6 week return date is probably still a pretty good bet.
Is today 4 exactly?
It's 4 weeks, yeah.
Yes. From the surgery,
I don't think he's getting 6 weeks.
Under 6.
Yeah.
Under 6?
Under 6.
There's no if everything is healed, they're not keeping him off the ice.
If everything is healed, yeah.
He will propel down from the scoreboard in full uniform and just take a face off and say, Remington, get your ass to the AHL.
Well, yeah.
That might be happening sooner rather than later. There was one bag fully packed in the Blackhawks locker room, just laying on the floor, and it had number 20 on it. So,
Brandon Saad.
I think seeing Bedard out there, and the Blackhawks kind of switch rinks normally, and that's what they did. And while the Hawks were on one rink, him and Anthony Beauvillier were on the other rink shooting, working with the coaching staff, and they were out there the whole time. Like Bedard was the last guy off again, so he was out there for a good hour and a half or so shooting pucks. It's definitely encouraging, and I'd really still be surprised with all these home games that the full 6 weeks. I don't think he's hitting that. I don't
think so either.
Maybe not.
I hope. I mean, listen, if he's good to go. Good to go.
Don't rush it. But
it's okay if you do, though.
I'm
at the point where I'm like, please come back. I'm tired of watching this crap ass team get shut out every week. It'd be nice to have something to look forward to. And Beauvillier's on his way back, and sounds like Tyler Johnson's going to be playing as quickly as
Tyler
Wednesday.
Johnson was already out there.
That's good. I know he's not the Tyler Johnson he once was, but you know what? He is an upgrade over
better than not
most of what's out there.
Yes.
So some home cooking this month.
Connor Murphy was skating as well.
Yep.
So that was good, non-contact jersey.
Yep.
And there is still a hope and a prayer that Andreas Athanasiou returns before the end of the season.
Yeah, and why don't we hear from Luke right now? I mean,
real quick, I have a question.
Yeah.
Was Bedard wearing like a fishbowl or any type
fishbowl.
of
Wearing a fishbowl.
And there was a question in the chat. It was Dr. Horror Show says, will he return with the fishbowl?
Yeah.
I would assume for a while.
I bet you he wears it for the
fishbowl.
rest of the season, to be honest with you. And
He likes wearing
for a
it.
guy like that,
Yeah.
he's not that far removed. Like, he's more
Used to
used
it.
to wearing that.
Wore it at the World Juniors. Yeah.
Because he wore it his entire junior career, essentially. They don't, you have to wear, is it still the CHL? Do you have to wear?
CHL, I think if you're like under 16, you have to wear one.
Right. After that, it's.
But then, after that, you can wear visors. But he chose to wear it at the World Juniors. So it's just like it's some guys, they hate him, the fish bowls and the cages and stuff. Some guys prefer it, and I think Bedard is a guy that likes wearing it.
He's worn that more
he's
than
not.
he hasn't. So
He's not too far removed from it.
So, yeah,
and I like one of the points that was made was that like even with wearing the fishbowl, it's not that it's. Sometimes you'll see a guy wear a fishbowl visor to protect like broken nose or like a big gash or something on his face. With a broken jaw, like wearing a fishbowl, it's going to protect you a little bit, but it's also still going to kind of hit you in the chin. So it has to be fully healed because any impact is going to affect it.
Right. Why don't we hear from Luke? He spoke after practice today with some good injury updates and a whole lot more. So here is Luke Richardson, fresh off the All-Star break and his trip to Napa.
Yeah, it was good weather and got lots of exercise and wine. So I'll say it before you ask me. I knew it was coming.
Tyler Johnson taking a full practice, is that a good sign that he could play Wednesday?
Yeah, unless something comes up tomorrow that he's sore, but I think he said after he felt good, so he's ready to go.
How much, every guy you take back, but especially him with everything he brings?
Yeah, no, I think it'll be great. He can go anywhere in the lineup and help on both special teams if we need. And and he's just got a good work ethic guy and a veteran guy that's won a Stanley Cup. So really invaluable to get him back. So for us, it's great. And, it's a good time. I think for him coming back, everybody's going to be kind of a little bit rusty this time of the year, just kicking off the rust for the first few games. So I think it's a good time for him.
Is Connor still begging and pleading the trainers to practice?
I think so, yeah. I try to stay out of there right now, but I think he's just feeling good that he got to participate in the All-Star game. It was great to see him there, and that's a great experience for him. I know it wasn't full-fledged, but it was still nice to see him out there, kind of mingling with the tops of the league. So it's a really good experience.
Do you have any other timeline updates and injury guys?
No, I think Connor's like same timeline as before. He's still got a little ways to go, and I think he has to meet with the doctors weekly. So I'm not sure where that is at yet, but I think Murph got on the ice yesterday, but today he wasn't. So I think it's just slow progression for him, and I think same as Bavilia's skating, but he's got like a brace on his arm or hand or wrist, and so he's not able to handle a puck or shoot yet. So that's still probably a couple weeks away.
So Connor's taking.
Diggins just had a maintenance day. He'll be back on the ice practice tomorrow. Yeah.
And Bedard's taking harder shots.
I think so. I'm not sure. I know he was out there longer today, but I still think the timeline for bones to heal is still not good enough for a game. It doesn't matter if you wear a bubble or not. The bubble's gonna actually hit it. It could probably do more damage in more situations than without it. So he'll have to get clearance from the doctors still when he can start exerting, I think, hard. But I think he's starting to ramp up his conditioning. But so that means he's probably able to work harder and clinch a little bit more, but not probably. I don't know if he's eating handfuls of nuts and stuff like that yet.
Is there still hope that Athanasiou plays this season?
Yeah, we're hoping that he can kind of get back on the ice soon. I think it was just set him back, figuring out what it was at the beginning. And I think I don't have a timeline when he's going to be on the ice, but the hope is soon. So he can progress out of the gym onto the ice, which would be great to see.
Do you have a day in mind where Connor could practice with you all?
I think he can start to practice a little bit, but non-contact drills. So even tomorrow, like, he might be out there for a little bit before practice, and if we can schedule our practice and have some flow at the beginning for shooting drills, then he can do that. Or if it's going to be more at the end, then maybe he would come out at the end and then stay on and do extra.
But a full practice is probably still going to be a little bit of time.
Yeah, yeah, because you know what, you turn the wrong way in a D-zone drill, and it's, you know, I mean, your face is right into someone's shoulder. So we won't be allowed to do any of that as much as he wants to. That's a doctor's call, so that keeps all of us out of it.
How do they measure how much he's bending and how quick he's bending?
I think they do scans, like they do x-rays and bone scans, and they can see cloudiness and stuff, and I'm sure there's a way to know if there's a big enough percentile that it's strong as it was or stronger than it was before.
You still seeing Chef Didi making deliveries?
I haven't, but I usually get in on it, so I'm hoping to.
With the home schedule, kind of the next 11 at home, that'd be nice to get some rhythm here.
We showed some clips from last game, and I thought we played a really solid game in Calgary, and I know it's disappointing, and I told the guys it's not, acceptable for us to be happy with that game, but we can be proud on how we played. We had a great start. We really pressured them. I don't know if I've ever seen a game that had 6 breakaways for one team other than a shootout game. So keep going. Like, we're playing well to create those opportunities. We played really well defensively against some really strong teams on that road trip and created offense out of it. And I think we got to continue that to have an opportunity to, break free one game. It goes off the post and the goalie doesn't whip around and keep it out with his arm. He knocks it in, and that's kind of the way our luck's kind of been going. So we got to make sure we just keep outworking the other teams to change our luck.
Also, with not traveling except for one game this month, is it an advantage with the health situation with some of your guys that, it can be a quick turnaround if they're already, they don't have to travel?
That, but also just even, all the guys, I think just less wear and tear on everybody, and you can focus more on practice. You get a little more practice time, because if it's late nights, you gotta weigh that in the equation, and sometimes you lose practice days on the road when you do that. So this will be a big month for us, but we got to take advantage on it by starting off fast in the first game and in the first period, in the first shift, and try and just keep pushing through. Don't get complacent at home because we're at home and there's no reason for us to. We're a better team at home than we are on the road, and we got to look at that and try and get above 500 and set small goals, and then just keep working up from there.
That Calgary game for Lucas Reichel, do you want to see more of what he did in that game?
Yeah, I talked to him this morning. I said that's his best game I've seen in a long time. I said he really looked to take charge and break free when there was openings, and I think he could have done it even more that game. But I think that'll come with some confidence, and if he would have scored on that one break in the second period, maybe that opens it up and he gets 2 or 3 chances like that and gets more than one and in the net. And that's what we're looking for, and I think he felt good about his game, or better about his game. I'm sure like everybody's disappointed we lost, but when you look at it individually, I think that's the type of game that he's going to have to play and grow off of. He can't be just satisfied playing like that. I think it's just a good starting point for him to kind of restart.
Thanks, Luke.
That is Blackhawks head coach Luke Richardson.
That's a new thanks, Luke.
Thanks, Luke.
Yes.
It's not no longer John.
We'll hear the Steinmiller thanks, Craig.
Thanks, Craig.
At the on
Thanks,
CHGO
Jed.
Cubs off
Yeah.
summer.
Yeah, congrats to John Steinmiller, the former, I don't know what his title was, PR director of the
Senior
Blackhawks.
director of Blackhawks PR.
Now has the same job with the Cubs, so he is going Faulkner to Faulkner.
Sure is.
That is that is the
Never
career
go full
path.
Faulkner.
That's the career path for John Steinmiller. So congrats to him. Good dude.
Yeah,
Always
Ben
good to us.
and Kaylee are taking over for him, and we had a chat with Ben today at practice. So we have some info on Nick Foligno's next appearances.
Yeah,
Plural?
I think we can talk about them on the air. I think
At least 2 of them.
Yeah, he's going to join us on February 13th. That's the game against the Canucks. Post-game, he's going to call us in after the game, so that'll be a little bit of a different kind of a feel, but be very cool. And then he'll join us in studio on February 20th, and we'll have a third hit in February. We're trying to finalize the details there. But mark your calendars, the 13th after the game against Vancouver, and then the 20th in studio. Nick Foligno will be here with us, and excited about that because it feels like it's been a long time since we've talked to him.
Well, he had an all-star break.
Yeah.
He went on vacation. We're not going to bother the guy on vacation. We may have another big guest this week, too.
Yeah?
Keep your eyes peeled.
Maybe by the end of the show, we might have some confirmation.
Maybe. But there's going to be a...
Greg is not distracted. He's working.
Yes.
Back off.
Yes.
I am trying to get us a super big guest later this week.
Yes.
So keep your eyes and ears peeled. It might be announced shortly. And if you're paying attention to what's going on within the Blackhawks organization this weekend, it might not be too hard to figure out what.
That's right. It's John Steinmiller, former PR director. No, you guys will like it, I promise. So a couple things from Luke. Good that Tyler Johnson's back, obviously. NHL body, and we're sort of speculating based on visual evidence that Remington Pitlick will be the one who goes to Rockford.
Probably.
That's a decent ad for Rockford.
They need
it.
Yeah,
it is.
They are struggling. 6 in a row they've lost.
Back-to-back overtime losses.
Yeah, at least they got 2 points this weekend, but they're still 6 in a row. Like, the Wolves all of a sudden can't lose. They're like, they went from like, hey, we could skip the play-in round to like, shit, we might not even make the playoffs in like 2 weeks. But it's the AHL. The AHL is so wacky. Teams go through these spurts. I mean, a month ago, the Milwaukee Admirals was in 3rd place. They've won 11 in a row, and now they lead the division by like 12 points. Like, it's a weird, crazy. The AHL is so nuts, but Pitlick would be really good on the Ice Hogs. He would help. Somebody in the chat asked earlier who else would come down as more people get healthy.
Probably Zach Sanford.
I would assume Zach Sanford. He'd have to clear waivers again.
Probably Isaac Phillips, unfortunately.
When Murphy comes back, I would think Phillips would probably be the guy heading down. Other forward-wise, I don't know. I think you get Beauvillier and Bedard back here in the next couple of weeks.
Is Joey Anderson here to stay, you think?
I think so.
I think so. I think he's played his way into lineup for sure.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, if you got Johnson coming back, Bedard and Beauvillier, let's say all in the next 3 to 4 weeks, yeah, I think you'd have probably Pitlick, probably Sanford, maybe Reese Johnson goes down, or maybe you keep him up because he's a guy that does something that not a lot of other guys are able to do in the lineup with the physicality and tenacity that he brings compared to. You all right there?
Allergic to AHL players.
Well, buddy, you're covering the wrong team.
Woof. You're not coming with us on Saturday then. I think there's a couple of guys down the lineup that'll probably head down to Rockford and give them a boost, which would be nice. And as it always seems to be, sometimes these lineup things figure themselves out. I don't want to hope or put any credence on it, but like, there's a potential that someone else gets hurt, and all this, all of that works out. So
it's
we'll
what
see
Luke
what
always
happens.
says is, don't worry.
Right.
An injury will find its way to the team. And
that's usually what happens. Maybe if Phillips keeps playing well and they don't want to put him down, then maybe Jacob Megna's the guy that heads down. But he's another waiver guy. But
he's
again,
been good too, though. I mean,
I don't think you're at a point where you're worried about that.
I don't think anybody's claiming Jacob Megna. There was a reason, like, he was on waivers in the first. Like, it's super, super rare that guys get claimed on waivers twice in the same season.
Right. Yeah.
Usually they only get claimed when it's like either a surprising player like Tolvanen on the press still wanted the Hawks to make that claim. Or it's just bad timing. You put a guy on waivers when there's a team that literally has no live bodies the Blackhawks. We're just like, cool, got him.
Like, I'm sure the Coyotes were like not expecting Zach Sanford to get plucked, but he did.
Yeah. There, Ephraim's asking, are we coming to the Crawford jersey retirement? Yes, we are going to be in Rockford Saturday for all the festivities. Should be a fun night as Corey Crawford's number 29 is retired in Rockford.
Second team he's played for that will retire his number this season. He got his junior number retired in Moncton, and now he'll get the Ice Hogs one, and
one more to go.
Up the ladder.
One more to go. Got to check that reported.
Thank you.
reported
guidelines.
The reported guidelines.
Yeah,
I got to see if he qualifies.
That's true.
Yeah, well, He qualifies in my book. And, hey, by the way, everybody, it is a busy time of year. You know, you got kids in school and you've got hockey to watch and baseball transactions that aren't happening. Sometimes you need a fast and delicious meal, and Factor is the place to get it. Wherever tomorrow takes you, be ready with pre-prepared, chef-crafted, and dietitian-approved meals delivered right to your door. You'll have over 35 different options a week to choose from, including keto, calorie smart, vegan and veggie, and more. And there's even more to enjoy with over 55 nutrition-packed add-ons that help make your weekly meal planning even more delicious. What are you waiting for? Get started with Factor today and have a feel-good week of meals to go. And here's the deal. There's these other meal kits that come, and guess what it does for you? Creates a ton of work.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all pre-measured for you. That's great. You still have to make it. Mm-hmm. With Factor, you pop it in the microwave, 2 minutes, and you've got a delicious meal ready to go. Take it with you to work. Take it with you wherever you're going. If you got a microwave, you got 2 minutes, you've got a meal. They've got snacks and smoothies. The smoothies are great. The juice drinks are amazing. They're so damn good. And we've done the math. Factor is less expensive than takeout, and every meal is dietitian approved to be nutritious and delicious. Factor is the perfect solution for you if you're looking for fast, upscale options done easily. Head to Factor Meals today. Go to factormeals.com/CHGOHawks50 and use code CHGOHawks50 to get 50% off. That's insert code CHGO50 at factormeals.com/CHGO50 to get 50% off. So again, put that code in at that website. The website, factormeals.com/CHGOHawks50, and then you add the code CHGOHawks50.
Did you say CHGO? No.
I did. Yes.
And tell them your name sent you.
That's exactly right.
Man, we got 50 on the brain today.
A lot of 50s on the brain.
Yeah, a lot of 50s.
Two more to come.
Wow. Hey, I hear there's a big football game this weekend. That's
The big game?
The Taylor Swift Bowl.
Yes, and if you're looking for a super offer for Super Bowl 58, DraftKings Sportsbook has you covered. New customers can bet on the big game and turn $5 into $200 instantly in bonus bets. There's lots of fun ways you can bet on the Super Bowl. I know the line is real. It's like Niners are getting
2 points. Yeah.
Which I kind of like. I'm not telling you how to gamble here, but I kind of like that.
Yeah, don't tell me how to gamble, Greg.
Over-unders 47.5. That's a tricky number, but I am a big fan of the prop bets. You can bet on the coin toss, what team's going to win the coin toss. You could bet on the color of the Gatorade.
Length of the national anthem.
Here's
like
one that I
one.
like. The jersey number of the first touchdown score, over under 22.5. You can bet on that.
Oh,
so,
okay.
Like if it's Pat Mahomes scores the first touchdown, it's under 22.5.
See, here's the thing that always screws me up is that if a quarterback throws a touchdown, that's not them scoring the touchdown.
It's the person,
That
the
always,
person going into that.
So what are
always
the odds
screws
on
me
that
up.
over-under? Do you have
It is over, if the player over 22.5 on his jersey, minus 115, under 22.5, minus 105. You could do that for first and last touchdown.
It feels like
You could bet on who gets
over
the.
is a pretty good choice.
Well, a lot of wide receivers were.
they have changed their numbers.
Yeah,
They're
they
not
are
all in the
under
80s.
22
There's a
now.
lot of
Yeah.
Teens and single-digit
true.
wide receivers out there. I would go under on that for sure.
Christian McCaffrey is 23.
He should wear 22 and a
So
half.
that'd be the
22.5.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So he'd be
So he
the
would be
over.
the guy. Yeah. You could also do the total combined touchdown score jersey numbers over 121 and a half. So
That's
you take
way
all
that's
the
too
jerseys.
much math.
But that's fun though. That keeps
much
you
math.
involved in the entire game.
That's true, yeah.
I like those kind of bets. Those are
fun.
my fun. I don't care about the winner or losers. I like the stupidity of the Super
prop
Bowl.
bets, yeah.
Lord knows there's plenty of that. So
Who's doing the
download
anthem? Do we know?
I don't know.
I know
Somebody that sings
Usher's the
better than me.
halftime show.
I don't know.
I will look up the anthem.
So while Mario looks up the anthem singer, you can download the DraftKings Sports app now and use the code CHGO. New customers can bet $5 to get $200 instantly in bonus bets only on DraftKings Sportsbet, an official sports betting partner of Super Bowl 58. With that code CHGO, the crown is yours.
Reba McEntire.
Reba McEntire.
Oh.
Okay, I like it.
She's going to keep it nice and simple, I bet.
Bet the under. Fun. All right. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In West Virginia, visit www.1800gambler.net. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. Yes, text HOPE NY. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino Resort in Kansas, 21 plus, age varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. See dkng.com/football for eligibility and deposit restrictions, terms, and responsible gaming resources. I screwed that one up. That was not a good one.
That little pause got you.
I got messed up because they actually put the numbers.
The numbers
in it, and it messed, and they're spaced out. It's
the
even
numbers
worse.
are there. Yep.
Like they don't have
the numbers being there is better than the.
It's better, but it confused me. And they're not like they're not like a phone number. They're spaced out. It's look at that. That's the phone.
No,
it's a little.
Just put it in there like a phone number.
Yeah.
Hey Max.
You know what we could do is just write our own script.
We could,
but
that. There'd be too many swears.
To quote a famous viral video, ain't nobody got time for that.
No, exactly right. So another big topic aside from Connor Bedard taking another step in his recovery was Lukas Reichel had his parents come to town, spend the whole week with him.
It's fun.
And he talked a little bit about his disappointing start. And one thing I don't know if I heard him say before, and maybe I just have forgotten in my old age, but talked about how hard he is on himself. And after bad games, it affects him. Like he has trouble kind of letting it go. And said his parents sort of helped him out in that regard. And I do think that he sort of acknowledged that his last game, the one against Calgary, he played pretty well in. Mm-hmm. Luke acknowledged it too and said, hey, I showed him some tape as we heard, and said there are even some more instances that he could have probably been more aggressive even still. I'm kind of bummed for Reichel that his best game of the year is the one right before the All-Star break.
Right, yeah.
But at least knowing that knowing that he's hard on himself, maybe it was nice for him to finish strong and feel a little bit refreshed and confident coming into the next half here.
Yeah, you'd think like you'd want that momentum to build off of that good game, but at least like even though there's a break, he sits with a better performance rather than another. If he had another, invisible game that everyone's harping on him about, then that's including himself. Then that's not a good feeling going into the break and having that time off. So yeah, having a good performance, that's good for him to sit with and gives him some time to kind of refresh, have like that good mentality through the break, so he can come in here and be like, all right, let's keep going. See the video, take the direction that the coaching staff is giving him and build off it and it. As much as we've talked about, like, what do you do with Reichel? What's the future for him? All this stuff. It definitely seems like they're, if you read through, I think it was Ben Pope's article, either it might have been yesterday or today even. He talked about Reichel and what his plans are, what his future looks like, and it sounds like from the organization standpoint, he's going to be around. He's going to come back, and there's really no worry about that. So it's really, if that is the case, maybe he's probably going into the end of this season thinking like, I'm not fighting for my NHL life, I'm just fighting for a spot with this team and to be in good standing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it is, if you want to, I don't know if this is cynical or I don't know which it is. It depends on how you look at it. But the fact that he has not come out this year and been a 40, 50-point guy, at least so far, probably saves the Hawks some money on this new deal. Yeah. I mean, it definitely does. Yeah. But a significant amount of money, because if you were looking at him putting up those kind of numbers, you're probably talking about, okay, do they skip the bridge deal and give him big years with good money, like we're talking about doing with Vlasic, which I think hopefully they will do. With Reichel here, now you probably got a couple more years we can buy pretty cheap and say, all right, like, let's see what you do here, because there hasn't been a lot of evidence that he's going to be a consistent NHL scorer. And look, again, he's about one full season into his NHL career. It's way too early to write him off. But I do think, while it is expected he'll be re-signed, if some team comes calling and says, hey, we're really interested in getting Lukas Reichel, I think for sure Kyle Davidson is listening.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, if you get a good offer, there's only like two players right now that I don't I listen to every offer. There's no harm listening. It was Ben Pope at the time. Sometimes that had that quote. I can't find the exact wording, but it basically said that like, even with the struggles, like the Blackhawks still plan on re-signing him. But as you mentioned, it's probably cost him a little bit of money. But this is the time where you find out, like year one of the actual rebuild. Like last season was basically getting to ground zero and ending of the previous regimes and all that stuff. Better have it now in a season that means nothing, especially in a season where so many guys have been hurt. Have them go through these struggles, as opposed to if you needed him to put up 50 points this season to make the playoffs, and you're not getting it, then you have bigger problem.
Here's a quote from Ben Pope's piece. It says, Reichel's career isn't exactly on the line, with the Hawks definitely planning to resign him as a restricted free agent this summer, no matter what. But it's fair to describe this as a crucial stretch for his career. He desperately needs to start playing well and producing offensively again. So,
I mean, it's got to be a little bit of a comfort to know that, like, okay, they haven't sent me back to Rockford. I'm going to get another contract. I'm probably costing me a lot of term and a lot of money.
Security.
But at least I know that this organization isn't giving up on me. And that's good for a young player that's struggling, that that the organization still has your back. And Luke Richardson has gotten frustrated as hell at times with Lucas Reichel. He's scratched him. He's played him 6 minutes a night. He's played him on the fourth line. But he still goes back to him and says, okay, I know you can do this. Show me you could do it. And that goes a long way for a young player struggling to know that the organization just isn't ready to be like, well, screw it, you're out of here.
Yeah, and you're right. And I think the fact that Luke is saying, like, okay, good game. Here's what was good. Recognizing this, and I get the idea from Luke that he is not a this here sucked kind of a coach. It's like, this was good, do more of this, or here's an opportunity, you could have done this, instead of saying, let's watch this turnover again and again. If Lucas Reichel turns the puck over, he knows it was a bad play. It doesn't need to be regurgitated over and over and over again. But when there's something positive that Luke sees on tape, or any of the coaches see on tape, they take him aside and say, hey, that's what we're talking about. More of this. And I think that can be a good illustration. The other cool thing from Ben Pope's article was the fact that when he was scratched, Reichel was up there watching Jason Dickinson play. Two very different kinds of players, but Reichel was sort of seeing, like, okay, how is Jason Dickinson creating offense for himself? What is he doing? How is he getting these looks and I'm not? Because all the time at the end of the night, you see Dickinson 3-4 shots on goal, 5 or 6 shot attempts. He's active. He's getting his opportunities. And when you look at the skill sets of the two, they're not really comparable. You would think that those numbers would be flipped.
Yeah, and I think that's part of Reichel's game that I think needs to develop to give him that edge, is that more straight ahead style of game, being able to, Jason Dickinson's a guy that will go in between the circles and try and make things happen. And I think with Reichel, especially in the last game, that last game against Calgary, we saw him start attacking to the middle more, which all this season we've just been, getting so frustrated with how often he's peeling off to the side or stopping and pulling up and trying to distribute to a teammate. So watching a guy who plays more of that straightforward, more down the middle game, that's an aspect of his game that needs to develop. And we saw that in Rockford. That was part of what made him a point per game player at the AHL level. So it's just kind of hammering that point home of, like, this is what's going to help make you successful. Like, he has the skills in his hands and his feet. He's a good skater, good distributor of the puck, like handles the puck well. And when he's confident, he's a dangerous player, but he just doesn't have that confidence right now in his game. And doing more of the things that the coaching staff is asking of him and kind of seeing the success and getting the results of that, I think that'll just help, build some momentum for him and hopefully unlock that, like, part of his game that will, like, put him into that next stage of his development where it's like, yes, this is you at the NHL level. Like, this is what's going to make you successful at this level.
Yeah, I think watching Dickinson was a good call because I think we saw a little bit of it on in that last game on whatever the hell day that was, 3 months ago in Calgary.
That's what it feels like.
Yeah, really.
And Luke even today was like, yeah, he had some good. He played good, but he could have even been better. Like there were some moments, and I think to your point earlier, I think Luke has told us in the past, where like for every negative thing in video he shows a player, he also shows them a positive. Like he wants it to even out at the end of the day,
Compliment
not to
sandwich.
just be like, hey.
Right.
But with watching Jason Diggs, I think the best thing that Lucas Reichel could do mentally is somehow get his brain to think of the second I feel like I have to pull up, I actually go even faster forward.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like, because that's what
attacking
Dickinson
mindset.
does. Dickinson gets to like that point where you're like, oh no, there's no space for him there, and he goes, screw it, I'm going to make space.
Yeah.
Try and stop me. If you do, good for you, but you're probably not going to. So that second you feel like, hey, I need to pull up and look for help, is when you go, no, I'm going to even kick it into the next gear and try and beat this
look,
guy.
like we've
one-on-one.
seen, look no further than Connor Bedard, who's learned that lesson a couple times, where he said, like, it's me and it's two defenders. F it, I'm going to try to go through these two.
Yeah.
It hasn't worked very often, but at least the attempt is there. At least he's trying, and he's, if nothing else, he's creating a threat to the defenders that they know he's going to go wide, right? Those defenders have to be prepared for either move Bedard makes. With Reichel, right now, they're pretty certain that if they pressure him, he's going to peel off or go to the boards, and they're going to be fine.
So the next time
and they
you
can
just
collapse
go,
inside.
screw it, you're going to catch them off guard, and they're going to be like, oh my God.
Well, and that's the frustration, because there's so many times we saw it. I wrote about it for Blackhawks Beat like probably a month and a half ago. There's this play I never forget against Nashville where he had to step on the defender because the defender assumed he's going wide, and sure enough, he did. Mm-hmm. But Reichel had the step on him. He had the angle on him. He had the speed advantage. He had the defender on his heels, and instead of putting that shoulder down and driving past the defender, he decided to peel off to the boards and drop it to the point, and nothing came of it.
Yeah.
And it was like, damn, that's the play. That's the one. And that's when you look at a guy with Reichel's skill set, that's what's going to make the difference, is that speed and that skill. Yeah. Like, I'm not comparing him to Pavel Bure. Make no mistake. But Pavel Bure and him are built similarly, where Bure was not a big guy at all, but he was fast as shit, and he could get around everybody, and they knew it. Reichel's the kind of guy, and he's not Bure fast, of course, but he's the kind of guy who should be striking fear in defenders with his speed and his ability to go from stop to start very, very quickly. And I'm telling you, when they see him peel off, those guys are relieved that they don't have to worry about getting blown by Lucas Reichel.
Easier to defend.
He is making their jobs easier by backing off and not plowing into the into the offensive zone. So hopefully the message has been received.
When you have, it doesn't matter who the player is most of the time, but when you have a guy, as a defender, like barreling down on you, it still puts pressure on you to make a play, even if it's Colin Blackwell, like coming in with a purpose and coming in with speed and a determination to try and make something happen, get to the net. That's still way harder to defend against than a guy who is going to just kind of, as soon as you put the pressure on to match him, he's going to peel off or pull up or anything like that. It's way harder for the defender to stop a guy, and sometimes even have to physically just like get in his way to stop him, or take a penalty. Like you put the pressure on them to make that kind of defensive play. So doing that more from Reichel will, at the very least, maybe buy him some more space with defenders or draw a penalty. Neither one of those things are bad.
A defender that is on his heels is a vulnerable defender. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't matter if you're Connor McDavid or if you're Remington Pitlick. If you've got a guy on his heels, you're going to be able to take advantage of them more times than not. So get the defenseman thinking that you're going to bum rush him, and it's going to open up for you.
Well, I mean, and like Connor McDavid is the extreme example of that, right?
Sure.
Because he can go from 0 to 60 in a blink. And that's why even great defensemen are often on their heels against him, because they can't imagine he's able to pull that off. Even though they've seen it on the ice, it looks different. Like, all right, I've got him contained pretty well, and there he goes.
I always think of the clip of the outdoor game where, was it Alex Pietrangelo against McDavid, or no, was that McKinnon?
I think that's McKinnon.
Oh, that was McKinnon. Okay.
Yeah, that was the
either way.
The Lake Tahoe game. Same
concept.
Yeah.
Like, even top tier NHL defenders, when those kinds of players are on them, go, oh shit, Like,
Yeah.
you know,
Scary.
it's tough. It's a tough job.
Well, and Jason makes a good point. He says players see the highlight of the one successful time out of 5 that you split the defenders and scored a goal last game. Yeah, like
It's true.
even that one proof, that one piece of evidence that you can do it has them playing you differently. If they know, it's what I was saying. If they know you're going to bail out, they're gonna back off. They're gonna
take away the middle of the ice and
That's
you
it.
play back because he's going to look for a guy to pass to. You're not a threat.
And the other thing is, if he's attacking from the wing and the defense takes away the middle of the ice, not only does it take that ice away from Reichel, it takes it away from pucks coming through it.
Right. Yeah.
So to have the threat of splitting the D or blowing past them around, it's just going to cause those few seconds of indecisiveness from defenders, and it can make all the difference. And maybe it's not even Reichel; it's just getting a pass through.
All you need is a defenseman to question what you're going to do for 1 second. That's all it takes.
Yeah.
And then the play could be by him.
Yep. It's hopefully he's getting that message. The Calgary game was a really good start. I just really want to see him, get a breakaway goal or bury a slap shot or something that's going to get his confidence going and get him feeling better, because I feel like, man, it's just got to be unlocked. He just needs to have that one game, because even the ones where he's played well and everyone's been very complimentary, the points haven't been there.
Yeah.
And I think that's really in his head a little bit of like, I am not producing at all. And they could be saying I'm playing well and everything, but my job is to score and I'm not scoring.
Yeah.
So if first time he gets that, highlight reel goal or a 2-point night or whatever it might be, hopefully that opens the floodgates for him, because I feel for the kid. You could tell he's feeling it.
Oh, yeah.
And his mood from opening day of camp to now is very different. It's very different. So anyway, I just hope that things get easier for him, and for you, business owners, it's getting easier for you to switch to electric vehicles. That's something we can all get behind, Greg, for the health of the planet and for the well-being of all of us who share it. You too, Mario.
Yeah, you said it there, Jay. We were talking about this a lot while you were gone, so I'm glad you're here.
Glad you
Well,
brought
I
it up.
listen to all the podcasts.
I'm glad that you're here to add to this very organic conversation. Yes, the electric grid is evolving to meet your cleaner energy needs as we all move with confidence towards that electric tomorrow. Whether you have one delivery van or a whole fleet of shipping trucks, ComEd can help guide you to make the changes that make sense.
Now, I have been gone a while, so please remind me what business owners should do.
Well, you and other business owners should go to ComEd.com/clean, excuse me, to learn more about the resources, fleet rebates, and infrastructure incentives available to help businesses go electric. If you own a business, don't wait. Start making your plan today to switch to electric vehicles. Good for business, good for the planet, good for all of us. That's ComEd.com/clean.
Did you say ComEd.com/clean?
Yes.
Excuse me?
3 times. Delete the excuse me part.
Okay.
That might get you to a website that gets you in trouble at work. Yeah, so go there now and see how going electric connects us to a better way of doing business and a better future for all the generations to come.
When does the electric tomorrow become the electric today? That's my
Tomorrow.
question. Tomorrow? Okay. Tomorrow is yesterday's
When will
today.
then become now? Soon.
And hey, if you're looking to get to the event nearest to you that you want to buy tickets to, do it with GameTime so that your tickets tomorrow can become tickets today. GameTime is the best, fastest, and easiest way to buy tickets for all the sports, music, comedy, and theater events that are nearest and dearest to your heart. And they have killer last-minute deals, all-in prices, views from your seats, and their best price guarantee. With all of that, GameTime takes the guesswork out of buying tickets. Love the last-minute deals. If you're wish-washy on your availability to go to a game, sometimes puck drop is at 7:30. Maybe you're not home till 6:30. You got to figure out what you want to do with the rest of your night. With GameTime, you can hop on to their app, check out the last-minute ticket prices, and make sure that you are getting the best deal for that last-minute ticket. So you say, you know what, I'm going to go watch Connor Bedard's return game whenever that ends up being. And with GameTime, you're going to be getting the best price that you can to do that. And also, I love the views from your seats. If you're going to a venue or an event that you've never been there before, you can pick your seat, see where the stage is, see if you are going to have an obstructed view or anything like that. so that you're not buying a seat that when you get there and you sit down, you're like, oh, crap, I can only see, what was it, the lower half of Paul McCartney? Was that your problem? Yeah.
Shoulders down from behind.
It's the best half, though.
Bummer.
Sure.
So great show.
With GameTime, you can take the guesswork out of buying tickets and make sure you're getting the best tickets possible. Download the GameTime app, create an account, and use the code CHGO. When you do, you're going to get $20 off of your first purchase. Terms do apply. Again, create an account, redeem the code CHGO, CHGO, for $20 off of your first purchase. Download GameTime today. Last-minute tickets, lowest prices guaranteed.
We're looking at the GameTime screen there, and some good prices for that Wild game.
Yep.
Sit in the club level for what, $60? I think I saw in there.
That's
looks,
not bad.
Looks pretty good.
Yes.
Lots of good
Tickets
deals.
are never that high when the Minnesota Wild come to town. I wonder why. Exactly.
Yeah. They're boring.
But guys, Brock Faber's going to play 25 minutes.
Oh, that'll be fun.
Cool.
Just look for his plus-minus highlights. He'll probably get a few in this game, let's be honest.
Sure, yeah. You know what? He's going to score a hat trick. That's just what the hockey gods are going to have in store for us.
Exactly.
And Mike Russo will tweet about it with a smile on his face.
There you go. You guys got to catch up with MacKenzie Entwistle today.
Yeah, if you missed it over the All-Star break, the NHL had, or the Athletic rather, had their NHL player poll, anonymous player poll, various categories from who's the best player, who's most underrated, who are the best refs, which there was one referee who was voted third best ref, but worst ref at the same time. So that shows you what you need to know about the refs. But one of the categories was most punchable face in the NHL, and both Taylor Radish and MacKenzie Entwistle received one vote. They were in the other category. So we decided Radish wasn't in the locker room, but MacKenzie was there. And we tried to get the investigation going into who could have voted to punch poor MacKenzie Entwistle in the face. So we had a chance to talk with him about it.
Your survey that came out.
I did, yeah.
Okay.
I saw. Actually, I never saw it until I got back here, and the guys kind of were giving it to me and Rads a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean,
was it an inside job? Did you guys vote for each other?
No, we didn't. I honestly have no idea who voted for me. I got no clue, but I'd like to know.
Yeah. Does that kind of give you a little bit of like, okay, maybe I'm doing something right, kind of playing the right way, getting under people's skin?
Yeah, I mean,
Or do you think
know.
maybe I just, maybe
I don't really know what to really think of that. I don't. I don't know. Maybe what was it? It was the most punchable face.
Most punchable face.
So yeah. So I don't know. Maybe I got a punchable face. But there was only one person, so that's good.
Another theory was that it was DeBrincat.
Could have been. Yeah. Could have been. I haven't asked him yet. Could have been DeBrincat. Could have been Hagel. Could have been one of those guys.
You start taking surveys during warm-ups. Was it you?
Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna ask him. Yeah, I can send some text out today.
I mean, what a despicable, horrible.
Why wouldn't you want to punch him in the face,
weird.
right?
It took every fiber of my body just not jack him right in the face. Oh my God, that face.
Right
so
to your
punchable.
suckle. Yeah, he is. After all he's been through, though, he doesn't need that.
Absolutely.
It's just, it's brutal. Yeah, and I missed the DeBrincat thing. What's the...
No, they used to fight
They used to play fight in practice.
They used to give each other, they used to do the little stage play fights.
They'd get in headlock tussles and all that.
That's funny. Yeah, he's I like McKenzie's such a good sport, and I wonder, but I know if that was me, I'd be like, who did it? Who doesn't like me? What did I do wrong?
Yeah, right.
I'd be in therapy about that. It's just so. It is the most random. I feel like MacKenzie Entwistle was kind of off the radar of most NHL teams.
It had to be someone who's a good friend.
Yeah, it was in jest, I'm sure.
Because I mean, no offense to MacKenzie, but he doesn't have the reputation around the league to be known as a person that you'd want to punch. Right. I would think.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was so funny to see that in the Athletic, and yeah, he was good to chat with it about it, and we told him we'll as much as we can do some investigating, we'll try and get to the bottom of it for him.
Investigative journalists, and we're gonna take advantage of those morning skates, all these home games.
Yeah,
maybe we'll head
go into the visitor locker room and just go around the room. Just say, all right,
punch MacKenzie Entwistle in the face.
Which one of you?
Some of them might be like,
name names.
MacKenzie Entwistle.
They might.
But you know what? If I'm playing in a role like MacKenzie does, and
Yeah.
he's your your energy type guy, your
He
checking
gets
line
feisty.
guy,
Yeah.
I would want more people to want to punch me in the face because
Right,
that means
yeah.
I'm doing my job correctly.
True.
Yeah.
That's
Or
true.
maybe it was just somebody that was just like, you know what? He's got the baby face. He's got all his teeth. Someone just needs to punch him so he looks more like
jealous.
a hockey
He's
player.
got those rosy cheeks.
Someone's jealous of his good looks. That's what it is.
His boyish good looks. Yeah. You know.
By the way, the Nick Cousins thing
Yeah.
was the most punchable.
It
I agree.
tracks.
Yeah, that
does track. That's a very punchable face.
He's definitely a resident of Pudwakistan. His biggest problem though is he like does Pudwakian things and then goes and hides behind other people.
Yes,
like he doesn't stand. He doesn't.
The
like,
old
if
Brad
you're-
Marchand.
If you're going to do something
Number 3 on the list.
that deserves a punch in the face, go take your punch in the face. Don't hide from it.
That's part of the game.
Or don't do Pudwakian things.
Yeah.
That's it. It's an easy philosophy. Sounds like a T-shirt. Don't do Pudwakian things.
Yeah.
Don't be a Pudwak.
Greg Boyce and Wayne Gretzky. Yeah. By the way, I know you guys got into the list, but I didn't have a chance
We
to.
need the Chris Jericho. You made the list.
How many years in a row can we call Sasha Barkov the most underrated player in the league?
Thank you.
Mario went on a rant
It's
about
like
this.
every year he wins most underrated.
You know what's
then
great?
he's not underrated anymore.
He finished 5th in voting for best in the league.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, it's hockey players, man. Like once they think about something about a guy, that's just who he is. Like, oh yeah, Alexander Barkov, he's underrated, and he's going to be underrated for his entire career, no matter how many Selkies and All-Star games he plays.
He's going to be underrated, and even after he's inducted into the Hockey Hall of Fame.
Most underrated Hall of Famer, Alex Barkov.
Yeah. Well, see, but I also said when we were discussing this, I said, well, maybe it's not necessarily who like the players think is underrated, but it's who
who's polled.
But maybe some of these players are thinking it's who the media underrates the most,
or who the fans, or
blame
maybe
the
it's
media.
like least,
like who isn't being talked about enough,
like not
Sure,
hyped
yeah.
enough.
right? And he's on that list.
Yeah,
But I also
I agree with that.
You just can't be 10 consecutive years.
Yeah, but also the underrated list being headlined by Barkov and Braden
Well,
Point,
you had Braden Point. That's
and
a load
Mikko
of crap,
Rantanen and Nikita Kucherov. Like, gee, like
Yeah.
it was that. Yeah, I
Nikita
chuckled.
Kucherov made another list over the weekend.
The shit list.
Not trying very hard. Like,
Hey man, he owned it though. He was
Sure.
like, "Yep, I don't care."
Yeah.
then don't be
but
in
the
it.
thing
I
is,
know, I
he
agree
could have
with you.
declined to be. No one was, forcing him with a
be in the skills
stick
competition.
to be in the skills
He
competition. He could have said, "I don't want to do
I
it."
don't want to do it.
Yeah.
Put someone else in there. Put another Canuck in there. We didn't have enough Canucks.
Well, that's a different. I mean, again,
Whatever.
it's my whole thing is you can do. I think the NHL did everything right with the All-Star game. I think
It was
it was
really
fun. It was good. The skills competitions were creative and entertaining. But if the players are not invested, it's never going to be great.
And I would say you had most of the players invested.
Yeah.
I turned off the skills competition after a couple events just because like it was I don't know. It wasn't doing much for me.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, the first couple events were the worst ones, like
Yeah.
fastest skater. I mean, that's not exciting.
Yeah, guy does a lap.
Yeah, and then it's like I was like, the dogs kind of smell. I'm going to put them in the tub and wash them, and we'll see if it's still on when I'm
Is that
done.
what you call
But, putting the dogs in the tub. But I had the game on for much of the day. I wasn't like watching it, but it was on while I was in the office working on some things, and it was fun. They did a good job.
I got to say, it was too long.
Yeah.
I know you have to do 2 periods of 10, and you got to have 3 games. It was too long. I'm like, oh my God, end this.
It would have been the same if they had played a regular game.
Yeah,
They just played
the
3
5-on-5
20-minute
stuff.
I know that's true, but it felt much longer than that. I don't know why.
Yeah, I mean when you have a lot of, space to fill and you're trying to get it with guys that are like kind of showing their personality but also still guarded because they're hockey players, like, it can be challenging to like fill that space with as much entertainment as possible, especially when it's not a 100% effort full force game.
Yeah. Easy fix for that though is just running clocks.
Yeah,
And once
you
a goal
could
is
do
scored,
that.
just dig the puck out and go again.
Yeah,
right.
you
Like
could
don't
do that.
face off all the time.
You
Like
don't
this,
need to face offs.
Yeah.
Like, just keep going. Just keep
keep going.
20-minute running clock. And hey, congratulations to the Toronto Maple Leafs for finally winning a tournament. Good for them.
How about that?
Good for them.
Who's the one that said it?
Pasternak.
Pasternak,
Yeah,
yes.
Of course it was. There needs to be more David Pasternak on everything. That dude's got one of the best personalities in the
He's
game.
fun. Yeah.
He's
underrated.
He's so underrated.
Definitely. All right, well, we're going to be back tomorrow with another underrated show, that's for sure.
Overrated.
Hopefully, we've got a little more progress to report on Connor Bedard. I think we all are in agreement that he's probably going to be a little more involved in practice tomorrow.
Probably.
Sounds like it.
And might potentially speak after practice tomorrow. So
Yeah, I think if he does practice, I think it'd be. I think he'd be open to talking at that point because
he won't have a choice. We'll surround him.
Yeah, well, we were waiting for him today. Yeah.
That was funny. So him and Reichel came in at the same time, and they both sat down next to each other. And Reichel said, "Are you here for me or him?" And everybody basically said, "Well, he's not talking, so you."
Yeah.
You're the next best option.
Yeah.
So anyway, there should be more tomorrow and a game. Thank God on Wednesday.
Yep.
I cannot wait to get to the UC for a game again.
It'll be a good time.
Yeah, I was on, by the way, if you have not checked it out yet, CHGO Tavern Style. Herb Lawrence and I were on there ranting against the men who hate Taylor Swift being at their NFL games. So you can check that out on the CHGO Sports Show podcast feed or on our YouTube page. I'm going to tweet the link here in a minute too. But we'll be back, the three of us, tomorrow at 2:30. So we want to remind you before we go that we are powered by ComEd. It's getting easier for your business to switch to electric vehicles. Learn more at ComEd.com/clean. Thanks to Steven, as always, for running the show. We'll talk to you tomorrow at 2:30 on the CHGO Blackhawks Podcast.
We all silly like the mayor.